GM. GM. So, trade of the day. I'm focused on Bitcoin. As you know, I'm long Bitcoin to the moon, blah, 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 all of that. So Bitcoin is going up, I suspect. For my actual trade, it's basically, I don't think we go below this wick now. So my first trade will be based upon 39.5 holding. I'm long between basically 40 and 39.8, and I'm just adding in here with a move to 42 on my mind. As I said the other day, if that one gets stopped out and we go lower, I'll re-enter if there's a second shot. But I think the way it's moving right now tells me that I think the market's going to keep going higher. Outside of that, I bought the dip on some alts, right? I bought Ethereum, I bought a cash. But what I'm looking at here is, are there some trades forming? Not right now, but later. The only time I want to look at trades, right? So if you think about a cash, I bought AKT, right? I bought AKT down here. But that's to add to my bags. That's just to hold. That's not saying I'm buying it now because it has to go to $4 or whatever. It's adding to my spot bags. But when looking at next trades, I want to see, very simply, what can break its high. So if I want to add a long trade, so this is the difference. You know when I talk about got my portfolio? I've got 80% of my portfolio is spot bags, where I'm just buying and buying and buying, waiting for all-time highs. The 20% that actively is traded, where I might hold like the Bitcoin trade, this is just 20. This is in the 20%. This is a small, short-term, active trade that might be open for a day, maybe 2 days, but not going to be open for a long time. That's in the 20%. So what I'm talking about here is, what are the next best alts to get long for a 1 week, 2 week hold, right? Not holding forever, long trades, right? Short time frame, relatively short. Day trade, swing trade, that kind of thing. So like I talked about on streams this week, I only want to get long something if I think it's going to go above its recent high. If I want to long something that's not going to the highs, it's going to a specific level, I'll long Bitcoin. That's what Bitcoin's for. It's the biggest, it's the most liquid, it's got the best price action, it's the one I understand the best. If I'm going to trade a short-term move, it's Bitcoin. But if I want to trade an alt, I don't want to trade render like from here to here. I'm going to get long here and take it there. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but to me that doesn't make sense. I would rather wait until there's a coin that is close to its recent highs. Why? Because if it goes there, then it can go a lot further. That's the point. You don't know. But if I was trading render from here to here, right? If I trade render from there, from this level to that level, that's my target. That's a 1.47R. That's not a great return for something that is a volatile altcoin. It's just not a great return. So instead, what I'll be waiting for is, if there's another rally and render shows real strength, and then it pulls back into here, and then it can come up to this level here, and I think at this point, let's say around here, it's got a good chance, because why would it be pushing up here if it wasn't going to break the high? It's got a good chance of breaking the high, so I get in, I enter. To the high, it might only be 2.12. You might say, oh, it's not much different. But then it's breaking new highs. And so what happens if it breaks new highs like this? What if it breaks new highs and goes on the same amount again? Right? Not saying this will happen, but this is the point. This is what you're targeting with these kind of moves. And next thing renders way up there, and next thing you've made a 9R trade. So a very simplistic example to highlight the point. I don't think render will go to that level. I don't think that's how price is going to move, and I'm not saying it's going to be render, but I hope you understand. Adding long trades on alts should only be if you think they can run into clear air, above resistance. And same thing in a bear market, you should only be shorting weak alts that you think are going to break support. So, in a bull market, look at how perfect of an example this is. In a bull market, support is stronger. You've heard me say this. Support is strong in a bull market. Support. Resistance is weak in a bull market. That would be so easy for render to take out if it can get back up there. And this resistance in between, super weak. Resistance is weak, support is strong. But I don't know if it's going to be render. So what am I doing? I'm keeping an eye on these. There's render. BitTensor looks great. So BitTensor is already much stronger than Render. They're both AI coins, but BitTensor is far stronger. So if there's another pullback, right, I'd expect BitTensor, if it holds, right, if it doesn't fully retrace, if it pulls back, whatever, 30, 40, 50% of this leg, and then starts to move back up, well, where do you think BitTensor can go? Right, it's close to that level. It's going to want to break it. Am I going to long BitTensor? No, I've got actually a different plan for BitTensor, which I think BitTensor is going to have a lengthier reaccumulation. Might be wrong, might be right. But my point is, it's much stronger than Render. So which one's more likely to break its high? BitTensor. That doesn't mean buy now. Don't buy into the green candles like that. But on the pullback, if BitTensor pulls back, it'll probably pull back to here. At the same time, if Render pulls back right now, it's going to pull back to there. So which one's better to target for the highs? Not Render. And so what I encourage you to do is get your sectors. So this is AI. There's Fetch. Fetch doesn't look great, right? It's okay, a little bounce, maybe a bottom, but nothing super strong there. Akash, as I said, trading it for different reasons. I'm just bought spot. I think Akash is going to hold this support. If not, it'll go lower and I'll buy more. That's totally fine. So then I look at the sector and think, how strong is AI? I mean, there's OLAS, which is another one. I mean, AI is not super strong. So BitTensor sort of bucking the trend. So maybe I wouldn't be looking at AI for the next pullback. Then we look at some of the parallel chains. Solana, Say. I talked about Say yesterday, right? How Say should be so much weaker because it ran later. Check out the daily stream if you want to understand that. Sui, there we go. Well, what's better? Solana, Say, or Sui? Sui. Quite clearly. Far stronger. Neon, weak. Aptos, weak. So again, as a sector, those parallelized chains, not much. Go to the BTC, which I think BRC20s are done. Stacks might be all right as a investment for the whole bull, but I think the BRC20 narrative is clearly done, as you can see here. Done. Multibit done. Dumped it last week. Sats done. That's it. It's over. Had a good run. Layer 2s also done. Right, there's so much exhaustion here. Right, so Optimism came all the way back. It's well back below its all-time high again. Done. Arbitrum, back below its all-time high. Done. Total exhaustion. Pushed up, retrace the entire leg. Done. Mantle, up, retrace the entire leg. Done. Metis, retrace the entire leg. Done. These are all done. Completely 100% done. Now, doesn't mean they're done forever. But when I say done, that's exhaustion. Exhaustion doesn't lead to a new trend. At best case, and there's a nice reversal on Arbitrum here at the lows, best case it'll push up, come back down, maybe sweep that out, build some kind of base, and then go higher later. That's like your best case scenario, right? For it to form a base up here. And obviously worst case scenario is it up, down, down, back to other previous support before running again. They'll all go up again, don't worry about that. That's just the nature of the market. But some of them might have to go all the way back down. Some of them might form bases higher. But so I'd be looking at coins. Let's just go back and finish with Sui, right? So if we see a pullback across the market, to me, Sui would be the one to look at. If Sui's still got this target up here, and let's say there's a pullback in the market, and Sui drops back to here, and then is holding at this level, well, I think that's the one that's going to break it. Because at that point, Solana would be like here. So Solana's not going to break its high from there. Sui can. And the difference then is because when Sui breaks resistance, look, there's nothing above. Right? There's very little above that. And Sui can start to run and could even run to $2 or $2.20 or $2.40. You don't know. Because that's the beauty of price breaking above resistance and getting into price discovery. So I encourage you to look through as many charts as you can and find the ones that are strongest. It's very easy to just look at this and say, well, when I say it's very easy, I don't mean that it's easy to understand this right away, but it's very easy for anyone after watching this to understand that Sui, right, is stronger than Atom. I think that's how close is it, how far away is it from its previous resistance, its highs, and then that's all you need to do. Injective, cooked, right? Injective is not going to go to zero, but it's also not going to break a new high as quickly as Sui is. Celestia, slightly better, but maybe losing a bit of momentum in its trend. Right, and then go on through them all, and eventually you'll just find some that are setting up better than others. There's Beam, like Beam's better than Illuvium, for sure. Prime looks a bit cooked. Helium, so Helium keeps bouncing and is actually holding up and forming quite a nice sort of pennant after a really strong run up. Like, to me, Helium, if it starts to break above here, is going to go for new highs, and Helium's probably going to be one of the better trades. Judging by this, there seems to be some strength in accumulation, but you don't want to guess that, because these pennants can often form and fall over and go lower. You want to wait for it to actually show strength. So if you want to watch Helium to actually break above this level around $8, and over and over and over all we go, and you can do that through all the coins. So that's just a little primer on checking your sector by sector strength and trying to find the fastest horse, because this is very much about trading as well. I'm not saying Helium's the best coin or Sui's a good coin. This is not investment advice. This is trading. I'm saying, how can I pick something that I know is that has the highest probability of going up? But all I care about, like if I can accurately get an entry on Helium and it goes from here to there, I'm done. If that takes 3 or 4 days and it does that, I'm happy. Because I'm not a Helium maxi. I don't need to buy Helium and hold it forever. I'm trying to make money, which generally means shorter term in and out. If I want to take a big bullish view on Helium, I'll do a lot of research on it and I might accumulate it, like I do with a cash. But for everything else, don't forget why you're here. You're just trying to extract profits, which is not easy to do. That's what everyone's trying to do. And that's why you need to focus on areas that are giving edge, that are more obvious, such as BitTensor is stronger than Render, Sui is stronger than Say, right? Helium is stronger than Atom, and so on and so on and so on. So that's it. GM.